Luca Guadagnino's latest effort, Challengers, opens up on a Challenger final tennis match between players Art and Patrick. These players are introduced with no backstory, no clear motives, and little personality, exactly like how you would watch any live sport. Yet as the film goes on, the blanks are meticulously filled by some of the most compelling film character relationships since The Social Network. Challengers is an incredibly smart and emotional movie that takes concepts of obsession, lust, and competition and does things with those concepts that I've never seen put to film in such a way. Let's set the stage. It's 2019. Art Donaldson is a popular yet depreciating pro tennis player married to Tashi Donaldson, his coach and mentor. Set up as a sort of trivial outsider, player Patrick Zweig is set to play Art in the Challenger final tennis match. An early scene shows Zweig forgetting his wallet for a motel and trying to pay for it by signing a tennis racket. The woman at the front desk, well aware of Art Donaldson and seemingly the basics of pro tennis, has no clue who this sweaty, disgruntled twink is. Simply put, he's irrelevant. Art, on the other hand, is frequent in the spotlight for better or worse. He is seen as this pretty talented guy that makes quite a few dumb mistakes. Tashi is subtly but clearly frustrated with Art's continuous failure, seemingly genuinely disappointed and embarrassed by her husband. We then get introduced to the much younger versions of these three characters when Art and Patrick were doubles partners and very, very good friends, and Tashi is a minorly successful but climbing 18-year-old tennis prodigy. Both Art and Patrick are amazed by Tashi's skill and overall drive, so they show up to her party. When she leaves her friends for a drink, the boys butt in, chatting her up. Now, while both Art and Patrick are interested in Tashi, it is for two completely different reasons. Art is sort of fascinated with her and talks to her about her game and strategies, while Patrick just thinks she's hot. And this, early on in the movie, is a great indicator of the key difference between these two characters. Art is a driven and focused person, knowing tennis is his passion and working every day for it. Meanwhile, Patrick is just really good at tennis, never really trying that hard to improve. So talented, in fact, that when Tashi says she'll take the number of whoever wins the match between them, she ends up with Patrick's. When Art asks Patrick to serve the ball to him in a specific way if he actually hooked up with her, Patrick does. Patrick wins the first round. Art, however, still allured by Tashi, finds a way into Patrick's head in the infamous churro scene, telling Patrick that he doesn't think Tashi sees this as a serious relationship. Right on cue, Patrick almost immediately fumbles the relationship, expressing that he doesn't want to just talk about tennis when, really, that's all Tashi even cares about. Soon, when Tashi accidentally blows out her knee during a game, Patrick isn't there for her, and Art is, being the beginning of Art and Tashi's relationship. Art takes it slow, trying to help Tashi recover from her injury by getting back into the swing of things. But it's clear to see, Tashi is washed, making it hard when her only skill was tennis. So the tables turn, and Tashi begins coaching Art, making him the best he's ever been. Art wins the second round. Married and with a kid, Art is the successful yet inconsistent player he is first introduced as. Patrick is a mess, only being able to find a place to stay the night before the big match by finding a hookup. Patrick runs into Tashi a few times leading up to the big match between the two guys, asking her to coach him, clearly craving a second chance. Tashi is understandably upset by these interactions with Patrick, dismissing him as a desperate asshole, which he is. Patrick is a competitive, flawed, jealous, disinterested person, and none of those are good character attributes. But a very solid point that Patrick himself brings up later in the film is that at least he knows who he is. Sure, Patrick sucks, but who is Art even? It is so easy to come up with countless adjectives for Patrick for better or worse, but when you think about it, it doesn't come so easy to Art. Earlier, I would have called Art a driven and obsessed person with a generally better heart than Patrick, but now, it's not really clear. Art was driven to become the best tennis player he could possibly be, but now, not only is he on a downhill decline, he's already thinking of retiring. Art was obsessed with Tashi for her skills and her own personal drive, but now he just clings to her like a blanket. Art barely even cares about this downhill decline in his tennis skills, something he would have lost his mind over when he was younger. But now, everything he does is for Tashi. When Art first considers throwing in the towel early when he starts getting rusty, she tells him he has to stay a tennis player, so he does. Art, despite losing both literally and metaphorically the first round of both the final match and his relationship with Tashi, barely cares about the tiebreaker of both. So what makes him care? Tashi says she will leave him if he doesn't win the match. Tashi resents Art for this, and Patrick knows it. So Tashi and Patrick hook up again, and in the final match, Patrick uses the same specific serve from earlier to symbolize to Art that Tashi cheated on him. Art is stunned, not even attempting to get the first few balls. But when it's time for Art to serve, he attempts to hit Patrick with the ball instead of focusing on the game. But on Art's second serve, they smile at each other. At this exact moment, it no longer matters who wins. For the first time in years, both of these characters offer each other humility. They are able to see past all of the messiness of this love triangle and just share a moment together. The final point is a competitive one, with the two players being aggressive and calculated. When Art jumps across the net to hit another volley, Patrick, instead of focusing on the game, catches Art from his jump. Art and Patrick finally embracing with each other. Tashi shouts from the crowd, "Come on," a phrase she said she only uses when the players are engaging in the purest form of tennis, where they are sharing a moment of physicality and telling a story instead of just competing. And for the first time, Tashi finally shares her approval, viewing love and relationships as a competition in a very solid filmmaking parallel. Characters will be talking in this film, and you don't even know if they're talking about tennis or not. This is an incredibly smart film that uses metaphors, parallels, and symbolism to fully flesh out this three-way relationship and the complications of love and competition, and what happens when you put those two things together. It's not a surprise that this film is so incredible. There was talent from all sides. One of the best directors working today, who has made now 3 movies that are perfect in my mind. Some of my favorite composers, Trent Reznor and Atticus Rose, worked on this film, as well as the phenomenal lead performances from Zendaya, who is yet to disappoint, Mike Feist, who is a fellow theater boy, and Josh O'Connor, who is new to me. Also new to me is the screenwriter of this film, Justin Kriskes, famous from the old Potion Seller YouTube meme, but he did a fantastic job. There is no doubt in my mind that Challengers will go down as a modern classic. It already has for me, and I'm giving Challengers a 10 out of 10. Thank you.